I'm going to be making some really cost-effective meals. Here's a cup and a half of rice that I cooked, and I allowed it to cool because I'm also going to use a can of beans, pinto beans, and I'm going to be making beans and rice. Now this kind of meal will get you through the week as a side dish, but I'm going to show you how to spruce it up because I did a search online and I did not find the way I make it. So if it's available here, it's for you. And if you're looking for a better way to make beans and rice to spruce it up and make it really wholesome, filling, this is how to do it. Starting with garlic, remove most of the shell, chop, and this is just how I do it. You can totally spend time removing the whole shell. Remove the little root balls. Most of the shell comes away. Just chop them up. And then you take the garlic you want and give it a little blow. Most of the shells come off. And then you go wash your hands, of course. So we're going to add that to the pot. All right, that's rude and great. Now using a nice hot, once the pan is nice and hot, you'll know, and you want to take some kind of oil, and right now I'm short on corn oil. I'm going to use some sesame, which smokes a lot, so I'm going to work quickly. Toss in my garlic. It's going to brown instantly. And toss in my tomatoes. This gives a nice crispy texture. Now when these pop, I'll come back. I'm going to toss in more garlic now. Some fresh garlic. Fresh red onion. Well, actually, I recommend corn oil. It's much less expensive. Sesame oil is more of a finishing oil. Shouldn't be heated. I'm using number 2 on my stove top. Coming along, as you can see, the tomatoes are releasing their juices. They've also got that little flame roasted speck on them. 2 types, the fresh garlic and the fried garlic. Really good combination, and that's all you really need as your base for your beans and rice. And of course, You need substance to this. You need to add some water just until you cover the tomatoes. This pretty much gives you the rehydration for your rice. And if you're like me, you like a lot of flavor, you're gonna add, can't get the bottle open, so I'm gonna open a different, this is the Better Than Bullion no chicken base, and you're gonna add some of this Better Than Bullion, or a tablespoon of whatever. Get that off the knife here. And a pinch of salt. Stir it in there before you add your rice. Make sure it's really well dissolved. Should get it off of the side of the pan. If you wiped your knife off like I did, you get a little bit at the top. You want to make sure you get it all in there. Now you're going to add enough rice to cover what you can see. And you don't want to add it all at once, just like one spoonful at a time. Enough rice to cover. Now, each spoonful here is about a half a cup of rice. So that's about 2 cups of rice. And as it boils, it's going to percolate up all that yummy, flavorful juices into the rice, reheat, rehumidify, and season the rice all at once. And beans. I'm just going to cover the rice with the beans. You really cannot have enough beans, and most recipes I've seen have very little beans for each thing of rice. So I'm just going to dispel the myth that you have to go light on the beans. This is definitely a bean dish. And the final thing that you're going to want to add is a little bit more of a butter substitute. This is Wild Creamery, European butter alternative. This is like a European butter. It's really nice. I've used it plenty of times, and it's easy to work with. So I'm just going to put about 2 tablespoons of butter, cover, let that simmer for a little while. I'm back to give it a little stir. The butter is refrigerated, so it's starting to melt. But let's stir in the rice, mix everything together. I've got this whole pan filled so full. I'm going to do this very carefully. Just to get that liquid back to the bottom of the pan. Make sure nothing is burning. And in the meantime, I'm also gathering my booster foods. I'm going to be adding some hemp seed, and I'm going to also be adding some of this little booster food, astragalus root powder. And it says this is an adaptogenic herb, long used in healing practices. I'm using this especially to help joint mobility and elasticity of the skin. I also have a detoxification herb that I'm going to taste first. I really haven't used this before, but I just got it in the mail, so this is always fun to share. The hawthorn berry is one of those adaptogenic herbs. Oh, look at that. It looks a lot like chocolate, but I bet it doesn't taste like chocolate. Very mild flavor. I'm going to go with a tablespoon of that. So let's go in and add our boosters. I'm using sunflower liquid lecithin. It is usually used as a cooking emulsifier, but it's also rich in calcium and phosphorus. I've got a tablespoon of hawthorn berry and a teaspoon of astragalus. You can use whatever booster foods you're wanting to use. And you don't even have to add these at all. And I have a half a cup of these hemp seeds. And the hemp seed adds omega-3 fatty acids. So I really, at this point, I'm turning the heat off. It's still going to have a lot of heat in it, but at this point, everything is well mixed. Perfect. And you're ready to serve beans and rice.